Chapter 4, India in the 6th century BC, Rise of Jainism and Buddhism. Part 3. Objectives. In today's session, we will learn about teachings of Lord Buddha and main doctrines of Buddhism, spread and growth of Buddhism, split in Buddhism, causes of the decline of Buddhism, impact of Buddhism on Indian culture and society, and lastly, similarities and dissimilarities between Jainism and Buddhism. Teachings of Lord Buddha and main doctrines of Buddhism. Four Noble Truths. Buddha's doctrines was based on four noble truths which he emphasized in his teachings. The first noble truth was the world is full of sorrow and suffering. In Hindi we can say dukh or dard. The entire world according to him is full of sorrow and suffering. Second, the main cause of this suffering is man's desire. In Hindi we say Trishna or Ichhaएं for sensual pleasures and earthly possession. One day we say that we want this thing, the other day we say we want this thing also for. So this is the only desire which is the main cause of suffering. Then third, suffering can be removed by getting rid of desires, that is renunciation. Renunciation meaning is act of rejecting something. If we give away our desires, suffering can be easily removed. Then last noble truth, one can overcome desires by following the eightfold path. Means if we want to overcome our desires, we want to get rid of our desires, we should have to follow the eightfold path suggested by Lord Buddha. Now, what is the eightfold path? The eightfold path consists of right faith, means right belief, right aspiration, means right desires we should have, then right action to achieve those desires, then right living, right speech, whatever we are saying, we should say in a right manner, right effort to achieve our goals, then right meditation and right contemplation. Right contemplation means right observation of doing something, and it was known as the middle path. Buddha used to believe that middle course should be adopted by the followers. Neither they should indulge themselves in extreme attachment to worldly pleasures, nor they should practice severe self-mortification, or in Hindi we can say Atma Vairagya. Then the next teaching was the karma theory. Buddha, he believed in the theory of karma, and according to him, whatever a man sows, he reaps. The condition of man in this life and the next totally depends on his deeds. If he will do good deeds in this life, his next life will be good. If we will do bad deeds in our life, then our next life will be accordingly. And we have to bear the consequences of our own action. Good actions means good life. Bad actions means bad life in our next turn. Then neither sacrifices nor any prayers to God can change a man's destiny. Then the third is nirvana, means moksha. Man's ultimate aim in life is to attain nirvana or moksha. And nirvana, it is an escape from the cycle of birth and rebirth, and it is the final bliss which is free from desire and sorrow, and we can attain nirvana by following the eightfold path. Next teaching of Buddha was existence of God. Buddha was silent on the existence of God. He neither accepted nor denied the existence of God. Mechanical worship of gods was brushed aside, and the high ethical code was elevated to the status of religion. Scholars interpreted his silence as disbelief in the existence of God. Next teaching was ahimsa. This was one of the most important teaching of Buddha. Buddha was against anyone causing harm to any living creature or living being. He used to believe in non-violence, and he also believed that non-violence should be the main principle of practical morality. Next teaching was no faith in caste system. Buddha strictly opposed the caste system as he used to believe that all men are equal and there should be no discrimination on the basis of caste. One of the main attraction of Buddhism religion was its strong stand against casteism. Last teaching was emphasis on character. Buddha laid great emphasis on the development of moral character like truthfulness of speech, love and benevolence for others. Benevolence in Hindi we mean bhalai. Kindness for all living beings, to pay obedience to parents, to pay respect for elders. Chastity and abstinence from intoxicating drinks means to keep yourself away from intoxicating drinks. Spread and growth of Buddhism. There were many factors which led to the spread of Buddhism all over India and abroad. The first reason was that the Buddhist religion was against complicated rituals and they opposed all forms of sacrifices. Second, the disciples they used popular dialects for teaching. Popular dialects means local language for teachings and they discarded or rejected the complicated Sanskrit language. Third, the followers of Buddha were divided into two groups. First was the Upasaks who lived with their families, and the second were the Bhikshus or monks who became ascetics after renouncing the world. Next, Buddha he discarded caste distinction. No discrimination was there among the people between rich and poor there. No caste discrimination. Then next, Buddha he was the model of calm and sweet majesty. He was a master of art of conversation and he was seldom or rarely disturbed at grave provocation. Then Buddha founded the Buddhist Sangh to spread his teachings far and wide. The male members were called bhikshus while the women members were called bhikshunis or nuns and they all used to live in monasteries known as viharas. Next, the great rulers like Ashoka, Kanishka and Harsha, they embraced means they patronized Buddhism and these rulers made Buddhism the state religion and popularized it in other countries like Sri Lanka, China, Myanmar, Japan and Korea. Next, the Buddhist councils they used to have discussion on various religious issues connected with Buddhism from time to time. Then the last, the universities at Nalanda, Takshila and Gaya. These became important centers of Buddhist education and students from foreign countries also used to come and study here. Now our next topic is two sects of Buddhism. During the reign of Kanishka, the fourth Buddhist council was held in Kashmir and there were some differences among the monks regarding certain practices and rituals that had been going on for many years, which finally led to the breakage of the Buddhism into two parts. First, we'll talk about the original Buddhism. This sect was known as Hinayana. They did not look at Buddha as an incarnation of God. Secondly, the followers of Hinayana Buddhism, they relied, means they mainly believe on good deeds and a holy life based on the eightfold path as a means to attain salvation. Next, they had no faith in idol worship. In Hindi, we can say Murti Puja. They had no faith in idol worship. Lastly, they were using Pali, which was the local language of the people, for preaching their faith. Then second sect of Buddhism, which was the Reformed Buddhism, was known as Mahayana Buddhism. They believed that Buddha was an incarnation of God like Rama and Krishna. Incarnation means in Hindi we say avatar. Then second, they worshipped the images of Buddha, means which was against the original Buddhist sect Hinayana. The images of bodhisattvas were made and they adopted Sanskrit for writing their scriptural text, which was beyond the learning, beyond the understanding of the common people. Now, the causes of the decline of Buddhism. First cause for the decline was the revival of the Brahmanical Hinduism. Efforts of great Brahmin scholars like Shankaracharya and Kumarila Bhatt finally led to the revival of Hinduism religion. They eventually established the supremacy of the Vedic religion over Buddhism. Then loss of royal patronage. The Gupta rulers, they were strict followers of Hinduism and they encouraged their own religion and the Sanskrit language. And they built beautiful temples for the Hindu gods, which led to the loss of royal patronage to Buddhist monasteries and all. Then split in Buddhism, as I have already told you earlier, during the reign of Kanishka, Buddhism was split into two sects, the Mahayana and the Hinayana, and this further led to the decline of Buddhism. Then corruption in the Buddhist Sangh. The rich monasteries, they used to collect a large revenue from the big estates that were donated to the monasteries. Eventually, slowly, corruption crept in and the moral degeneration of the monks and nuns became one of the major cause of the decline of Buddhism. Then adoption of Sanskrit. Buddha, he used to preach in the language of people like Pali or Prakrit, which attracted the masses, but later on, for writing the Buddhist scriptures, Sanskrit language was used, which made people to slowly move away from Buddhism religion. Then last was the Turkish invasion. The Muslim conquerors, they invaded India and they destroyed many Buddhist temples and monasteries, and many Buddhists were persecuted and many were killed. Then comes the impact of Buddhism on Indian culture and society. First, impact on religion. The principle of ahimsa, which was preached and practiced in Buddhism, it became very popular, and the Hindus also followed the practice of the Buddhists and they built beautiful temples to worship their gods and goddesses. Then impact on literature and education. The Buddhist centers of learning developed into famous universities like Nalanda, Takshila, Vikramshila, etc. Students from foreign countries also came to study here in these universities. Then impact on art and architecture. The railings of the Sanchi Stupa and the gateways and the cave temples which were built during that time, and the Gandhara art also developed under the Buddhist patronage. These numerous stupas and pillars, they show the Buddhist skill in the field of art and architecture. Last topic is similarities and dissimilarities between Jainism and Buddhism. First, we'll talk about similarities. The great teachers of both religions, Mahavira and Gautam Buddha, they both were Kshatriyas who rose against the rituals of the Vedic religion. God, rituals, and Vedas, all three things had no place in both the religions. They both use the popular dialects, means the popular language, for their teachings. Then non-violence was an indispensable, means an unavoidable part of their religion. According to both religion, nirvana was the ultimate aim in life, and both had organized monasteries for monks and nuns. Then the last topic is dissimilarities. Jains, they used to believe in severe asceticism, means strict asceticism, whereas Buddhists, they advocated the middle path. Jains, they carried the principle of ahimsa to extreme point, whereas Buddhists did not do so. Then Jains gave greater importance to laity. Laity means people who used to help to manage the affairs of the monastery but who were not monks or nuns. Whereas Buddhists, they used to rely mainly on the Sangh there. Then Buddhism, it became a world religion, whereas Jainism remained confined to the territories of India only.